the properly health practitioner. Well, this physician has retired and was the coolest janitor named Tom. He realized that dirty floors brought about sickness, and so he's doing his element. And as a bonus, he gets to heist and rob a financial institution at the aspect. His great intelligence and hassle-solving capabilities shows us he is the most wise janitor inside the world. During his college days, he proposed a plan that efficiently resolved the Mexican oil spill crisis, attracting the eye of the sector's 8 biggest oil businesses. They competed vigorously to hire him even earlier than he graduated, imparting him Gavo positions, organization inventory, and an annual income of $400,000. Despite the outstanding opportunities offered to him, Tom grew to become down a lot of these offers. Instead, he normal a activity provide from Walter Moreland in Spain. This job worried the use of his brilliant brain power to crack a vault that become taken into consideration an engineering wonder, and contained an object that Walter changed into after. For over 80 years, nobody had ever controlled to break into this specific vault. Walter added Tom to his crew. Beginning with Walter, he became the owner of a salvage firm, and a few months in the past he recovered numerous antiques from a sunken deliver in Spanish waters. One of the items in that wreckage changed into a hard and fast of 3 coins that supplied valuable treasure coordinates. Unfortunately, the salvage assignment failed, and the Spanish authorities confiscated everything they observed. The items are now locked internal, a marvelous vault in a Spanish financial institution. Lorraine, Walter's followed daughter, became responsible for impersonation on the team. She may want to expect any identification the group wished for their infiltration missions. Klaus, the hacker, handled the team's hacking desires. James, Walter's right-hand man and an ex-soldier, had the pleasant fight capabilities on the group. Simon became in rate of the crew's logistics and gadget procurement, and so long as there has been money, he should get anything the crew wanted. The first day Tom arrived, the team encountered problems hacking into the financial institution device. They required a code to enter, but it turned into unavailable and time turned into of the essence. To resolve the difficulty, Tom counseled a simple answer. They could fake to be an automatic voicemail recording and extract the code they needed from one of the financial institution's customers. After trying out Tom's concept, the group unexpectedly acquired the important code. He gets raps for his smart thinking and heads to his new condo. During his second day with the team, Tom formally started out studying the internal workings of the Bank of Spain. That is considered the maximum fortified constructing on Earth. The bank is equipped with numerous sensors and cameras, as well as guards who are skilled to reply right away to any commotion. However, the most important project the group faces is the headquarters of the Spanish army, which is placed throughout the road from the financial institution. When the financial institution alarms are precipitated, 500 infantrymen will rush in to cope with the scenario. Additionally, the bank's safety leader is the former commander and leader of Spain's counterterrorism pressure. Tom and Walter's group are basically dealing with a powerful force capable of coping with any assaults on the bank. The group possesses slightly any knowledge about the layout of the vault inside the bank. Consequently, they require a test to gain greater records about its internal structure. Currently, they understand that they want keys and the fingerprint of the financial institution's security chief to get admission to the vault. To collect the 2 items and facts, the group initiates an operation. Tom and Simon pose as janitors to gain access into the financial institution, at the same time as Lorraine pretends to be an insurance agent focusing on excessive fee art inside the rooms where these artwork are stored. Safes behind the artwork have the keys required to get admission to the vault. While on the way to the artwork, Lorraine walks with the chief of security and requests that he keep her coffee in order that she can shake fingers with the financial institution's director. This permits her to achieve the chief of security's fingerprint, which the team needs to access the vault, in the room wherein the first painting is placed. Klaus assists Lorraine in managing the financial institution's digital camera surveillance. They file a video of Lorraine scanning the artwork, and play it lower back at 10 times slower than the regular pace to create the effect that nothing unusual goes on. Lorraine locates the safe, prepares her equipment, and proceeds to duplicate it. However, an unexpected tourist arrives and complicates matters. With simplest 20 seconds left earlier than their surveillance hack ends, Lorraine have to be positioned efficiently inside the video. Unfortunately, the chairman of the financial institution is in her way. Lorraine makes a decision to ask the director to take a photograph of her scanning the painting and requests that he step back when taking the photo. At the last possible second, Lorraine prevents the director from appearing inside the surveillance video, just because the hack ends. While Lorraine starts off evolved her quest to discover the second key, Tom encounters in trouble. His venture is to test the shape of the vault by means of pretending to be a purifier and getting access to the lower flooring of the financial institution. The vault is believed to be located immediately underneath one of the assembly rooms on that stage. Tom crawls under the table within the meeting room and initiates the magnetometer to start scanning. Unfortunately, a group of individuals enters the room to behavior a meeting, trapping Tom beneath the table. As if that weren't sufficient, the tool starts to malfunction and receives stuck at 96% finishing touch. After a few tinkering, Tom manages to get the tool to paintings again, and the test is in the end completed. Regrettably, this brought on an alarm and below the management of the bank's leader of safety. The complete financial institution changed into placed on lockdown and army troops have been dispatched. Meanwhile, Lorraine had simply completed copying the second key while the director arrived to retrieve her. In the commotion, she forgot to return the stolen key and shut the safe wherein it became stored. Eventually, the team comes to a decision that Lorraine have to toss the important thing to Tom, who might then position it back in the safe. Tom moved quickly to the floor, restored the key, and closed the safe just as he acquired a warning that a guard changed into drawing near his role. Thinking speedy, he intentionally allowed himself to be caught when the guard arrived at the room. She requested him what he become doing there, and he took off his earphones and acted as if he hadn't heard the alarm. She let him off the hook. Once the operation became over, Tom started to examine the internal shape of the vault. He located a section that the experiment could not display genuinely, and he found out that it contained water. The vault was built at the precept of a weighing scale. If the burden modifications whilst the vault is opened, it's going to close and flood with water. The group now is familiar with how the vault mechanism operates and must hold a steady weight balance. Tom starts figuring out how to clear up this trouble operating across the clock. Simon and James made a good-sized discovery even as exploring the vicinity underneath the financial institution. They showed Tom suspicions that there has been a large scale under the bank. But to their dismay, the modern stability turned into zero. Moreover, they observed a primary trouble that would jeopardize their plans. The partitions of the underground room had been made of titanium steel strengthened concrete with a long-lasting outer layer, which made it nearly impenetrable. Even with the toughest drill bit, breaching the wall might take them 15 days, which become too much time to... The group had a restricted window for this heist, and this delay made the entire operation appear impossible to pull off. The group needed to bear in mind giving up. Walter took a moment to reflect and went to the square to watch the football enthusiast. While looking at the group, he found out that in the World Cup finals, all the cameras near the financial institution would face the fans in the square. This insight caused a change in plans. Instead of entering the financial institution via the underground passage, they may infiltrate it from the roof. Walter fast relayed this information to the crew, and anyone felt a renewed feel of hope. However, their fulfillment still trusted Tom and his ability to decipher the vault's mechanisms. He works tirelessly till he, in the end, devises a plan to address the safety mechanism of the vault. To display his solution, he locations a cup of water on a scale, revealing the balance flow. Next, he eliminates the cup, sprays liquid nitrogen on the sides, and puts the cup returned in area. This time, the balance does not circulate because the dimensions is frozen. Tom explains that the equal precept might be carried out to the large vault scale. The handiest undertaking is that they will require a considerable amount of liquid nitrogen to execute the plan. The crew commenced their operation with a strong plan as the football recreation among Spain and Netherlands kicked off. They had a decent window of best 105 mines to finish the whole operation. To start, they ziplined to the financial institution's rooftop, cut open a tumbler window, and entered through the opening. Then they made their manner through 100 meters of piping until they reached the doorway to the room containing the vault. They might need to cross the usage of a transportable ladder. Finally, they arrived in the front of the vault, and Klaus started his hacking work to permit the team to advantage entry. With the 2 keys and fingerprint they had obtained earlier, they determined themselves dealing with the staggering vault. Simon took over the following step, spraying liquid nitrogen on the scale to provoke the freezing system. As he emptied the tanks, the reaction began, and the vault's ground started to freeze. The group then entered the vault and looked for the item containing the cash they sought. Meanwhile, the financial institution patrol crew found the open roof window and Speedy headed closer to the vault. Lorraine found the cash, but what befell subsequent became sudden. James had planned to betray the team from the start as a spy, and now aimed to borrow the coins from them. Lorraine turned into left, and not using a preference but to reluctantly give up the stolen coins to James. However, their escape turned into brief-lived as the liquid nitrogen's freezing effect wore off, causing the vault's security mechanisms to spark off. The 3 of them, Tom, Lorraine, and James, discovered themselves trapped inside the vault as waters started to flood the vicinity. As an ex-soldier, James changed into a position to make use of his swimming talents to get away from the entice and flee with the stolen cash. As the leader of safety calls in an emergency, his guys strap up and begin rushing in the direction of the vault. Mop and Lorraine's lives had been in serious threat as they had been at the verge of drowning inside the flooded vault. With no other alternative, Tom came up with a plan to trick the vault machine into beginning the draining system. He instructed Simon to add more weight to the dimensions to make it seem like the vault changed into full. Simon acted speedy and placed all the nitrogen tanks on the sides. However, it nonetheless wasn't sufficient. Just as he became approximately to surrender, he noticed his radio and decided to feature it to the dimensions. Surprisingly, the small radio changed into sufficient to make the balance shift, causing the water to stop pouring in and beginning the draining manner. As the Navy men rushed closer to the vault, they had been equipped to trap the thieves Pink exceeded. However, upon beginning the vault, they were surprised to discover no one internal. Tom and Lorraine had controlled to break out the usage of the drain pipes, making their manner to the top stages of the bank. With a security force warm on their heels, they were jogging out of time. In a moment of quick thinking, Lorraine remembered a room she had visited in advance for scanning the artwork. She recalled that the director of the bank commonly leaves the window in that room open. So when, without hesitation, Tom and Lorraine rushed to that room and made their way out of the bank through the open way. They joined the group within the square, taking their jackets off and blending in with a relaxation of the humans. The squatties chasing them have been getting dangerously close. Feeling defeated, they prepared to surrender. However, destiny intervened. Spain received the soccer sport, and the crowd erupted into cheers and party. The noise and commotion made it impossible for the squatties to preserve up the chase, and Tom and Lorraine have been capable of slip away left out. Several days later, James returns the stolen coins to his agency. However, once they decode the coordinates, they understand that it results in the Eiffel Tower, which is not the right vicinity. They ultimately understood that they were outsmarted by way of Walter's group. Meanwhile, Lorraine had switched the cash within the vault, which brought on James to steal the wrong ones. Tom and his crew are in a lodge in France and come across the actual coordinates of the treasure they were after. They study that the treasure is now hidden inside the Bank of England, so the crew gears up for another heist, equipped to position their capabilities to take a look at all over again. Bank heists have usually been a famous subject for movies as humans find them exciting, so the use of tools, strategies, and deception adds an exciting layer to the film. If you had been in Tom's position, might you pick out to live an ordinary company life or take a danger on an impossible project? Share your thoughts inside the feedback segment beneath. Thank you for looking. If you preferred the video, please subscribe, drop a like, and click on that bell. See you once more subsequent time.